America is the first abstract empire in history, built not on soil or blood, but on law, capital, deterrence, and systems. It does not expand through territory alone, it expands through infrastructure. That matters, because decline looks different when power is abstract. In the last episode, we asked what kind of civilization America is. Not whether it is good or bad, not whether it deserves its power, but what it actually is. An engineered order, designed, not grown, built on reserve currency, status, financial settlement networks, security guarantees, and escalation control. Now we have to ask something harder. What happens when an empire faces decline inside a world that cannot absorb systemic failure? Earlier empires declined into land, culture, continuity. This one declines into infrastructure, and that infrastructure now includes tools that cannot be undone. Nuclear arsenals, autonomous systems, technologies capable of altering the climate itself. These are not tools of conquest, they are tools of finality. Once created, they remain. Once deployed, they cannot be recalled. Pandora's box is no longer myth, it is architecture, and that changes the arithmetic of decline. For most of history, empires rose and fell. Rome collapsed and Europe reorganized. Britain declined and the balance of power adjusted. Territory shifted. Borders moved, authority fragmented, but life continued. Why? Because decline was territorial. When Rome weakened, villages still grew food. When empires fractured, local systems remained intact. Mistakes were catastrophic, but bounded. They destroyed regions. They did not destabilize the entire grid. Collapse was violent, but it was absorbable. That is no longer true. Today, power is not anchored in land alone. It is embedded in financial settlement systems, deterrence frameworks, supply chains, and digital networks. When these systems fracture, failure does not stay local. It propagates. That is the structural difference. Earlier decline reorganized geography. Modern decline destabilizes infrastructure, and infrastructure does not decay quietly. For the first time in human history, we possess powers that cannot be reversed, not because we are uniquely evil, because we have built tools that do not decay. Nuclear weapons, chemical and biological arsenals, autonomous systems capable of acting at machine speed, technologies that can alter climate itself. These are not instruments of conquest alone, they are instruments of finality. Earlier weapons destroyed cities. These systems destabilize continuity. Once invented, they remain in circulation. Once deployed, they cannot be recalled. There is no return to a nuclear-free world, no return to a pre-automation world, no return to a pre-climate leverage world. Pandora's box is no longer myth, it is infrastructure. It is embedded in power grids, in financial clearing systems, in deterrence doctrine, in automated decision chains. This is what makes decline different now. Earlier eras risked destruction. This era risks irreversibility. And irreversibility changes how caution must function. In earlier eras, hegemony meant dominance. Control territory, project force, expand influence. Today, hegemony means something else. It means containment. Containment of escalation. Containment of systemic failure. Containment of cascading reactions. Because the global system now operates as an interlinked grid. Deterrence frameworks connect adversaries. Reserve currencies stabilize trade. Shipping lanes anchor supply chains. Communication protocols regulate response speed. These systems do not self-heal. They require confidence, they require predictability, they require a stabilizing center. For the last 80 years, that center has been the United States, not because it is uniquely virtuous, but because system-scale infrastructures require an anchor. When power sits at the center of that grid, withdrawal is not neutral. Inaction signals, repositioning ripples, misjudgment propagates. This is why hegemony now feels less like dominance and more like load-bearing architecture. Earlier empires commanded. Modern hegemony absorbs pressure. And absorbing pressure requires restraint. Misunderstanding begins here. America is often treated as a country like any other, but structurally it operates as something more. It is not only a territory, not only a military, not only a government, it functions as the keystone of an abstract order. That order rests on global trade routes, financial settlement networks, reserve currency status, security guarantees, escalation control. These are not symbolic powers, they are operational systems. When Rome fell, villages still produced food. When empires fragmented, local economies continued. If America falters, the fractures are different. Currencies destabilize, supply chains seize, deterrence frameworks misalign, trust erodes. These systems do not exist in soil, they exist in confidence. And confidence is binary. It holds or it breaks. This is why decline feels structurally different now. Not because America is sacred, but because the system it anchors is abstract, and abstraction fails differently than territory. This matters because American behavior is often interpreted as arrogance, paranoia, or moral failure. Some of it is, but a large part of the anxiety is structural. Older empires declined into something: land, culture, continuity. When Rome weakened, Romans were still Roman. America's power is not rooted in soil. It is rooted in systems. Reserve currency status, security guarantees, global settlement infrastructure. When identity is fused with these systems, decline does not feel historical. It feels existential. Not because decline is impossible, because what remains underneath is unclear. If territorial power contracts, culture persists. If abstract power destabilizes, confidence fractures. And when confidence fractures, identity destabilizes with it. That is why anxiety feels disproportionate. It's not simply fear of losing influence. It is fear of losing coherence. Understanding that does not excuse action, but it explains intensity. Earlier cultures feared power. When power expands faster than the stories that constrain it, discernment falls behind. And when discernment falls behind, error scales. Earlier civilizations risked being wrong. We risk being final. Errors used to teach limits. Now error can eliminate the space in which limits are learned. The danger is not that America may lose power. The danger is that the world America helped build has no safe way to survive unmanaged collapse. Pandora's box cannot be closed, but it can still be held. God-level power, human-level restraint. Welcome to Broken Planet.